Another day, another Mortal Kombat 1 interview with Ed Boon that confirms a few new things about Mortal Kombat 1. MK1. Hey, what's up? Your boy Dynasty back again with another MK1 video because Danny Benya sat down with Ed Boon over the Summer Game Fest weekend and got a chance to talk to Boon for roughly about 10 minutes, and a lot of this stuff is just rehashed information that he's mentioned a few times in other interviews, talking about how the Cameo system works, why they call it the game Mortal Kombat 1, you feel me? Just a lot of the same questions were asked to Boon during these sit-down interviews over the weekend. But in this interview in particular, we get not one, but two things of note. For starters, confirmation that NPCs will be back in the story mode as cameos. Cameo NPCs confirmed for the MK1 story mode. You will have characters in the story mode you can control as cameos who aren't in the game's roster and Cameo roster. That's kind of scary. That's scary stuff. And also, seems like Liang isn't the only one that knows about the previous events from the most recent timeline, aka MK9 to MK11. We heard this was going to be a reboot, and Fire God Liang was the only one with any knowledge of the previous timeline. But in this interview, Boon pretty much confirmed that Shang Tsung also knows, and it seems like Shang Tsung's also the main villain of the story as well, based on what he's kind of saying here. That's what I'm taking from this, so we got to break this stuff down. Again, shout out to Daniel Pena. I'll have the full interview linked down below, but if you are excited to hear me break this stuff down, please take 1 second and drop a like on the video. It does help me out a ton. Again, thank you guys for all the love and support lately. It's been humbling, to say the least. It's overwhelmingly positive, so I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for just making this stuff fun again. It's been so long since we got to, sit down and break down Mortal Kombat news, and now that it's here, I'm having so much fun making these videos, piecing them together, so thank you guys for all the positive love lately. So with that said, let's get into the thick of things. Okay, first things first, confirmation that story mode NPC Cameo fighters exist in the MK1 campaign. Check this out right here. Let's watch it together.
So campaign is so the campaign we can use Cameo at all. This is more like versus.
No, you can
still
use Cameo. Yeah, there are a number of Cameo characters in the campaign that are exclusive to the campaign.
Okay.
Like and they're not in the main the Cameo rosters, so to speak, that you choose from. So the story mode introduces cameos. It introduces the concept of them. You really get used to it. There's a bit of a almost like a training element where you get used to how they work, and then, like I said, there's a number of appearances in the story mode cameos that aren't seen anywhere else.
In the demo, there was like.
Now, again, these could simply just be like generic basic characters, like a regular Shaolin monk like we saw in the trailer. It could be like a basic ninja guy like we also saw in the bar background in the trailer. It could just be like random characters that teach us how to use cameos. Or the flip side to this, it could mean that, well, maybe former Mortal Kombat characters like I don't know, like maybe like Serena, or maybe like insert fan favorite character that's not going to be in the game here. You know what I mean? Like, what if there's going to be fan favorites featured as these NPC Cameo characters that you can only use in the story mode, but then you never get to use them again, even in the real game? That's where I think this is kind of tricky. Now, I'm hoping, obviously, it's like more of the first situation we just talked about, where it's just like random monks, random ninjas, random people that have no lore to them. I hope it's that, because if it's going to be like a bunch of 3D era characters only featured in the story mode, oh, that's going to be bittersweet, because you guys do know, going back to today's Mortal Kombat X, I think universally, we all can agree it's... It kind of sucks to see your favorites only featured in the story mode. Most recently with Mortal Kombat 11, Sector, and Cyrax. They got amazing new redesigns, and guess what? You never get to use them. Ever. Going back to Mortal Kombat X, how many cameos did we get in that game? How many? A bunch. A bunch. So, it would just hurt to see fan favorites featured only in the story mode and not ever fleshed out as actually part of the game's core gameplay. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping that's not the case, but at this point, nothing would surprise me because it's happened before, and this time it's about to happen via MPC Cameo. And it's hilarious because I've already seen memes like this. Your new fave is a cameo and NPC. Shout out to SRI2K for tweeting this to the Thitty when he confirmed this on Twitter yesterday. So the memes are already here. I'm telling you, it's gonna suck if people we want to see are only featured via story mode cameos. We'll see what happens, but just keep in mind, it's confirmed it exists, but we don't know who they are. Next up is the part of the interview where he's asked if Liu Kang is the only one that knows the previous timeline's events in the story mode, and this is where Boon has a very interesting response because he himself says he's being very careful with how he words the statement. Check this out.
Is he the only character that's from the old Mortal Kombat? And this one is more of all the new characters, just brand new story. Is he the only one, or there's going to be other ones too? If you're allowed to talk about it.
I'm cautiously answering it. For the most part, yes, he's the one with any kind of knowledge of the last 11 games of events, and he's using that knowledge sometimes. You know, that's part of the fun of this story mode is he's going to see Shang Tsung taking a path, and he goes, "Wait a minute! I know the damage that he's done in the previous timeline." So he's making decisions based on his recollection of that, and it's going to be fun because you as anybody who's a Mortal Kombat fan and knows the story is also going to be remembering, oh, that's right, these two teaming up here is going to be something that's going to be, you know. So it's very cool how we have all these nods to the previous games, but for the most part, Liu Kang is the one who has the memories of that, and everybody else has no memories of like. Scorpion knows nothing of Shang Tsung. Sub-Zero knows nothing of Shang Tsung. Scorpion and Sub-Zero are brothers. Katana and Melina have a completely different relationship too.
Now, for competitive players,
Boon drops a bombshell, and then Danny Pena starts talking about competitive play, which I think is so funny. Like, look at the response Boon has. He's like, "I just gave you some drastic information, and you're about to ask me about esports."
what new things are they going to see for the hardcore fans with like game mechanics and stuff like that, especially for like tournaments? And
Yeah, the big.
It's kind of funny. I thought that was kind of funny how Boon just dropped a bombshell and saying like, okay, by the way, it's not just Liu Kang who knows about the previous timeline's events. It's potentially even, again, seems like Shang Tsung. And if you caught that, he mentions how these two people will be teaming up, and we're going to see the audience this happen. Liu Kang's gonna see it, and we're gonna also be like, whoa, I know where this is going. Now, when I first heard this, the first thing that came to my mind was the Deadly Alliance, Shang Tsung and Quan Chi. Now, is Quan Chi in this game's story? We don't know. However, hypothetically speaking, maybe there's a leak out there that says maybe Quan Chi's in that leak. Maybe he's a DLC character. Maybe. Hypothetical here. Maybe he's only featured as one of those cameo assist characters or a story mode NPC. And maybe eventually he becomes a full character through DLC, and it kind of just goes full circle and it ties in. Now, that's just a hypothetical statement. I don't know anything. I'm just saying that was interesting. Hearing him say that we're going to see two people team up and we know where this goes. I can't think of two other people teaming up where it's like a big deal. Shinnok and Shang Tsung? Is that duo going to happen? I still feel like the Deadly Alliance, when I first heard this, was the first thing that popped into my head. Again, let's play it. What did he say exactly?
Shang Tsung taking a path, and he goes, "Wait a minute! I know the damage that he's done in the previous timeline." So he's making decisions based on his recollection of that, and it's going to be fun because you as anybody who's a Mortal Kombat fan and knows the story is also going to be remembering, oh, that's right, these two teaming up here is going to be something that's going to be, you know. So it's
these two teaming up here is going to be something that's going to be right after he talks about Shang Tsung potentially doing things in the story like a slithery snake. So, yeah, I feel like this means Deadly Alliance will maybe come back, which is crazy because it's like the last thing I was expecting, but I could be wrong. I could be entirely wrong here, but at the very least, Shang Tsung appears to be the villain, at least one of the main villains in this story mode. Is there a bigger villain outside of this? Maybe. There could be. There could still be some Onaga, anyone else, but at this point in time, it seems like Shang Tsung and Louis are the only ones who are familiar with the events of the previous timeline. It's funny because, again, the announcement trailer just shows us Shang Tsung appears from the portal, he kills everybody, then ultimately gets killed by Liu Kang. So, seemingly that was teasing the story for Mortal Kombat 1, where no matter what, it's in our blood, Shang versus Liu, it'll always be a thing. And in this game, it's just crazy to me because when I saw him as the pre-order bonus, I just assumed he probably had no role in the campaign. But again, think about recently of Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn was a pre-order bonus, but he did have a role in the campaign. So that's not necessarily true anymore. So yeah, Shang Tsung potentially the main villain of MK1. Maybe there's someone else, but at this point, at the very least, it's Shang Tsung. He will be in the story mode confirmed from Ed Boon himself. So we'll see where this takes us. He teams up with somebody again. Who does he team up with usually? Quan Chi. So Quan Chi's a good guy, maybe? Origin stories, you see? My brain's going. We're resetting different things here. Liu Kang's familiar. What's gonna happen? A lot of changes, but yeah, this was a great interview. Again, shout out to Daniel Pena for getting this actually with Ed Boon over the weekend. It's like 10 minutes long. Again, I'll have it linked down below. I highly suggest checking it out because it's jam-packed with a bunch of content. If you want to see some more Ed Boon talk, I do suggest checking it out. But yeah, NPC Cameo fighters in the story mode exclusive, which is... I'm gotta be optimistic and hope it's just generic characters and not fan favorites, because it would suck if Draman is only featured in the story. Or Tremor. Or others. And seemingly Shang Tsung is the main villain and teams up with somebody. That's a huge hint. That's a big deal that no one's really, I've seen talk about. So we'll see what happens, guys. If you enjoyed this video, though, please take 1 second, drop a like on it. Subscribe for some more MK content like this on the channel. Till next time, been your host, Mid Dynasty. You guys, please take care, stay safe. My eye's getting slightly better. No Johnny Cage cosplay today. I love you. See you in the next video. Peace.
Living on it crack, but I'm not superstitious. Count all these racks, I'll be steady, count on my digits.